Happy Monday. How you doing? How was your weekend? Hope you had fun. Hope you stayed safe. We had a great time Saturday. Yesterday, Auntie Billy had a shift at the hospital, so I went by with my daughter. So I watched football with my son-in-law and got to play with my Artemis. He got to see the Patriots lose their final game of the season. I knew that was going to happen. Fucking terrible. Fucking terrible. And I don't make excuses for him. No, that's one thing I don't do. I love sports. I'm a fan, but you know, coulda, shoulda, woulda, almost. Yeah, they lost fair and square. They deserve to lose. They deserve to have the losing season they had this year, winning only what 3 games, 4 games. I didn't even really care to keep track. You know, think I only watched maybe half their games. Anyway, how's the weather? Were you impacted by that storm? Were you in the path territory of its travels? Like I say, here in New England, well, especially here in the South Coast, it's a little bit different for us. By the ocean temperature, the water's warmer than the air. It impacts the precipitation in the air. You know, heat rises and all that happy horse shit with the meteorology. So it doesn't usually impact us as hard on the coast as it does more inland. And you know, like to say, you don't like the weather, just wait a minute, you know. It can change from hour to hour. Started out snow, got about 2 inches, changed to rain. Started getting watered down. It got back down to like about an inch of slush. Then it was all rain. Washed almost all of that away. Then, like, you know, in the blink of an eye, it changed back to snow. Went back up to about like maybe 3 inches. Then it changed back to rain again. It knocked down. It knocked it down again anyway. Some slush outside. Maybe about that much slush. That's about it. You know, I heard something funny. Well, I say funny, you know, you can say funny, funny ha ha, or funny strange. This was kind of funny strange, something I hadn't really expected, but it's because how it was presented to me. As most of you know, there are people I refer to as my friends. And there's a reason for it. And I don't call just anybody a friend. And my friends here, you know who you are. And then you'll hear me talk about my buddies. When I say my buddies, I can't help but laugh because you know who I'm talking about. When I say my buddies, you know, so when people tell me things and they say, hey, you know what your buddy did? I'm already starting to laugh because I know it's going to be something so fucking stupid, you know. When they say, hey, you know what happened to your friend? I instinctively take it in a more serious nature and even a little bit of concern. Hey, something happened, you get hurt, get into an accident, you know. I like instinctively, when I hear friend, I instinctively take it a whole different way. And I'm not even thinking about laughing. I'm more interested in what happened. Is he okay? Did something bad happen, you know? And somebody gave me a call yesterday, says, hey, what happened to your friend? And I kind of hesitated. I said, what friend and what happened? He says, then he told me who it was. So what happened? Is you okay? I communicate with him. We text and talk on occasion, not as much now as before, but you know, after the holidays, everything's done settled. We're all getting. No, he says, he had a live stream that went batshit crazy off the fucking rails. Man, a guy got drunk. He's threatening fucking people. He says it was one big fucking shit show. It was one big fucking shit show. A guy got fucking rip-roaring drunk. He's threatening people. And then with his car, he'll race people and give them head starts. And he's calling them names. And he'll go in the pits and beat them up. And he said, man, it was like being in the worst fucking dive bar, being around the most obnoxious drunk you've ever been around. And I went, are you sure? I know him well. He's not that type. I know he wouldn't do something like that. He speaks his mind. He's straight up. He's not the type that would get drunk and do something that fucked up. No, not your friend, a guy he had on. And I said, really? What happened? And he told me. I was like, wow. Yeah, he had a guy on that went fucking batshit crazy on a lunatic fringe, fucking drinking and threatening people, and then he says, I guess he had a beef with some guy, and then he invited a couple other people came on for a little while. Then one guy came on the drunk had a beef with. He says half the time, he says I couldn't know what to make of it. He's telling the guy, I really like you, but then he turns around, he's telling the guy he wants to beat him up. He says the guy was fucking nuts. I said, well, that's what happens when people drink. I've seen people do some pretty fucked up shit when they're drinking too much. Sometimes, bad things happen to them. They run their mouth at the wrong person in a bar. I guess it's a little safer on here. You're behind the screen. Anyway, he says, man, that was fucked up. He says, I says, no, I didn't hear about that. Now I have. He said, well, Anyway, I'm glad it wasn't my friend that did something that fucking stupid. I don't think he ever would. Yeah, there's a little bit more dignity and self-respect in that, but it's like they say, you can't be responsible for the actions of others, Anyway, outside of that, I haven't heard much about much, and quite frankly, for a while, I've been losing, the holiday stretch, a long time away from here, going back to spend, after Christmas through after New Year's with Auntie Billy's mother, sister, brother-in-law, niece, nephew, her friends back in Arizona, my friends back in Arizona. There was a long stretch, almost 2 weeks, from the last thing I did, before Christmas Eve. And it was a nice getaway. It was a real nice getaway. And very refreshing, let me tell you. And when I came back now after the holidays, something was a little bit different. Something was a little bit different. Different. They say you see things with fresh eyes, new eyes. Things you get so accustomed to seeing, you don't notice gradual changes in things. Like, well, I see Artemis at least, once a week, So I get to see his growth and the progression of change with him, He's already up on one leg, like standing up. He's already trying to start to walk and stuff already. But people that haven't seen him for a long time, they may see him maybe just over the holidays or something, from year to year, or maybe every 6 months, and they go, wow, is he big? And seeing it, the growth changes, as it's happening. You don't really notice as much, You get acclimated. You get accustomed to it. That's the two words I was looking for. Acclimated, accustomed. And that can happen with the internet with people. And I'm not exempt. I'm not immune from it. But something's like different. I don't have as much interest in it as I did. As much as I find things funny with my buddies, not my friends, my buddies, in some ways, it's not quite as funny anymore. I find it more sad and pathetic than funny. Where they prostitute themselves on here for the sake of popularity and money and views and subs. They'll do anything. No matter how mundane and boring it is, anything to get attention, because they want something from that attention. You got guys like Sanford, he's not the only one. They got to feed a bank account along with an ego and a narcissism. Others that I think they know they'll never be rich, but they're hoping to be famous somehow. I think all the fucked up shit I've laughed at, I'm realizing exactly how fucked up it really is. And I'm not finding it funny. At least not like I used to. I don't know how that's going to determine what I do going forward, quite frankly. Anyway, I have some things to think about. But in the meantime now, if you were in the past, I know some parts north of us got whacked with at least a foot. We didn't get a lot of high wind. We got some high wind only for a little while, and then it died down yesterday. It was like late morning, early afternoon. Anyway, I hope if you were in its path, you got through okay. You didn't lose any power. A lot of people did lose power in some areas next door in Rhode Island and Situate. Trees went down and shit. And they got a very wet, heavy snow. And that branches sag, trees come down, power lines go, you know the deal. Anyway, hope you got through it. Hope you're all safe, you're all okay. And I don't really have much more to say. Tomorrow back to the VTHA and back. I was back last Wednesday. I was going to go in Thursday, and I think I mentioned it, my two associates there. We just got back, finished settling in for a couple of days, and start fresh next week. So I'm starting fresh this week now. So I have tomorrow and Thursday back to my normal routine that I look forward to. And I don't know. I have some things to think about. I really do. I think maybe some changes will be coming on my end as well. See what happens. Anyway, have a great day. Have fun. Stay safe.